Hello. We got our video here on function tables, and a function, all that is, it means that we have an input and we have an output. For every input, there's only one output. Now you're probably wondering, what's an input and what's an output? And that's you're right in that. In an input, all we're going to do is we can throw any number over here. We'll throw the number 7. What we're saying is that there can only be one output now that I put the number 7 down here. I could have written anything over here in this input column. But once I've made the number 7 my choice, you can see here, this is our function rule. Our rule is x plus 8, and x is really considered the input value. So we have 7 plus 8, and when we put that input in there, our output becomes 15. So you can see why, once I put 7 in, there's only one thing that we can put over here for the output. So that's a function. We have one input for every one output. Let's try another one here. If we write in 8 for our input, we'd have now 8 plus 8. We'd substitute 8 for x, and the other 8 was already there to begin with. 8 plus 8 is 16. That's what we're going to get for our output. If I wrote 9 over here, we'd have 9 for x, and then we would add 8 again. And we'd get 17. Now you don't have to go in order with these inputs here. I could put in a number 4, and we'd get 4 plus 8, and 4 plus 8 would be the output of 12, and we could write in, I don't know, 31. 31 plus 8, I love prime numbers. 31 plus 8 is 39 for our output. So you're probably saying, well, what's so difficult about this? And I think one of the hardest parts is the vocabulary affiliated with this. So another term for input is the independent variable. And another term for output is the dependent variable. So let's look at independent versus dependent variables. It's kind of an important concept, especially as you move on in math. So let's say we had here money earned per hour of babysitting. So we have hours and money here. So you can see there's 2 hours, $20, 3 hours, $30. Well, what depends on what? Does the money come in first and then the hours come in, or do the hours, are they independent of the money? I would say that the hours are independent of the money. In fact, basically anytime you're using time as a variable, that's going to be your independent variable. And if you work 2 hours, then you'll earn $20. And you can see it's kind of a pattern of $10 every 1 hour. If you work 3 hours, the independent variable, you get an output or a dependent variable of $30. So the money is depending on the hours. That's kind of the way it works there. So if we have number of fingers on a person, I would call the people an independent variable. And the number of fingers depends on the number of people. And of course, you might say, well, there might be people with 9 fingers. We're going just on a general basis here. And again, we don't have to go in order. This chart with hours and money went in order. This one, it's not though. We're going kind of all over the place. And you can see here, our function rule would really be n times 10. Take the number of people and multiply that by 10, and you'll figure out the number of fingers. A car driving at constant speed of 24 miles per hour. I want you to try this right now. Pause the video. See if you can identify what the independent and dependent variable will be. Alright, the independent variable here will be hours, the speed. Like we set up here, time is usually going to be an independent variable. I can't think of a situation where it's not. So hours would be independent, and then the dependent variable would be the distance, or the miles. So we've got the distance and the hours. So for instance, if they were going 2 hours, you would go 48 miles, right? 24 times 2. If you went for 1 hour, you'd go 24 miles. If you went for 3 hours, well, we could do it out on the side here. 24 times 3 is going to equal 72. Like I said, if you need to do it out, do it out. And if we went 5 hours, well, if we're going 5 hours, that's independent. What we'd get out of that, since we're going 24 miles each hour, we would get 120 miles.